It's interesting. You say that about crowdfunding and a petition. Someone actually created a well, if you go on on MS Xbox, there's a forum that you could vote games up. So somebody actually created Acquire Joe Montana Football, and it's already closing on 200 votes with very little awareness. I mean, nobody made any videos about it. But really, the real number would be the view count on that Unreal 4 engine interview. I mean, that video is almost probably at 41,000 views at this present moment. The buzz for this game was real because everybody thought it was for consoles. So what are your thoughts on that? Someone creating a post so that people can vote your game to get to a console. What are your thoughts on that?
Okay, so for people who started a petition, we love you. Anyone that voted, obviously, I wish the world worked that way. I really do. I mean, obviously, for people to, I've signed up for those petition things before too, and that's a kind of complex process. So just getting through that process of signing up we're definitely very appreciative, and it's just really awesome. But at the same time, yeah, I wish the world worked that way. And then your question was with how much hype, right? I'm sorry,
right.
At the end of it, yeah. So it was extremely unexpected. And the thing is sometimes I think you alluded to before. It's a mixture of timing. It's a mixture of just, I don't know, like it just like all the stars align or something, you
right.
know, like it's really weird because, other companies have attempted to bring another console game to the market as a competitor. And it was interesting. It was like in total silence for how many years now? What was the last one? 7 years, I guess?
Yeah, All Pro Football.
7 years?
Or
yeah,
Backbreaker.
Yeah. So 5, 7, yeah. So, there's been, just a silence. I mean,
yeah.
So we honestly, we were taken aback, to be completely clear, because we just looked at it and we're like, there's no way that people are this hungry, but they're starving. They're absolutely starving, and there was just nothing we could do. We had partners. We were trying to talk about it. We were trying to
right.
do this, and then I think what really kind of tipped it off was we don't look like we're mobile, and I think that was the other thing that was if we just looked, cruddy, right? Poopy, we just look that way, then people are like, oh yeah, whatever. But where we started was we were like, okay, we're gonna make the best looking thing anyone's ever seen.
Right.
We just wanted to make it look like it'll just blow your socks off when you're playing it. And then at the same time, I think that might have backfired a little bit. Right?
A little bit, yes.
Because you're like, it's funny now because people joking this is a thing in the industry that is kind of a joke, but it's like, is that layered? I know it's really funny, but like next gen is that layered? How many layers does that have? It's right. A really funny sort of joke in AAA game design right now. So it's like, most people that we worked with have been, it's like, how many layers does that have? Does it have 4? Does it have 5? Oh my God, it's so next gen, right? So right. when we were designing things, we were like, okay, well, it's got to have a layer where the pad comes off of the neck, right? Like you got to have a layer where there's actually what is that? The neoprene goes over the pads, right, or the knee pads and everything else like that, and that's got to
right.
be underneath a real geometry.
Wow.
And the cool part about it is that we applied all of that great techniques and next gen layer stuff, and then we put it in Metal and Unreal, and it just blew our mind.
Wow. So, and it worked.
Yeah. I mean, we even got down to the stitching. So even in the devices, you can actually see the stitching. You see all the stuff. I mean, we were very detail oriented in every way. I mean, your shoelaces aren't just matted on your shoe. It's actually a shoelace. Right, it actually comes out, right? And I know that's silly to say, that's such a big deal on a mobile device, but it still is a really big thing, right?
Wow.
Even on the mobile, you'll have the sweat stuff happen too, right?
Wow.
So, and then also weather, right? Because everyone said we had dynamic weather before. So we have it to where weather does come in, right? So I don't know if you looked from the video, it was like a clear sky with the clouds, but you actually have to predict in the game itself. You actually have to say well, what's the weather going to be like when you check it, right? You're like, okay, we haven't gotten the detail yet where I need to change my cleats,
Right.
I really want to, right?
Wow.
Where, you know, it's going to be wetter. So you're going to have, you know, what is it? Longer cleats.
Jesus.
You're going to have, yeah. So we want to do that. And I'm trying to get it right now. It's not available now. So maybe, you know, next year or whatever, but I want to get it to where the actual ground turns into mud and then it becomes like, you know what I mean?
Right.
Or like when you're in the snow, it isn't just a layer. You actually are like, you know,
in the snow.
And
Gotcha.
I know that's such a kind of a high ideal to talk about when you're talking about mobile, but I mean, I think if we can do really cool stuff where we're at now, and you compare it to the console, you're like, oh my God, like why don't they just do this on the console? Like right? Like you know, if we could at least make people smile in some ways, going, I really wish this would have been in what I just bought in the store. I don't understand, right? Like, why can't they just do it?
Gotcha.
So, yeah.
Okay. Excellent. Excellent answer.